we talk about actions or evil deeds. Yeah. Then this life no condition, so it didn't come to fruition. Then let's say next life you may be born in some other rhyme, or maybe human being again. Then it take effect. It come to fruition. So it's the doer of the act and the being that takes the next rebirth is the same one. Huh? What do you think? It's obvious, it's different, isn't it? Correct? Huh? One is a form of mind. This life maybe you are a human being, but next life maybe you are born as a cow, or some other beings. Definitely is a different form of mind. So the question is, people may ask you this question: why worry? We enjoy life first. Then the one that get into trouble is another being, not you, correct? So why do you worry? What do you think? What is your understanding as a Buddhist when people ask you this question? We already discussed before, even though it's a different form of mind. But what actually happened? You have your karmic nature, you have your spiritual nature, then what happened to you? Are you different? The question is, even as a human being, that karma ripen, let's say, got condition. Is the form of mind like this like Queenie, and the one next life maybe not Queenie, it could be another race. Is it the same? Because the doer is Queenie, understand? No? But the one that go through the effect is another being.
But so, still the karma follow you.
Correct. So how are you going to convince somebody who don't understand Buddhism? Because he is going to tell you, why worry? I commit all the nonsense, then after that, as long as this life no effect, next life somebody else, not me.
Yeah, but then if somebody else, we are, no doubt we are born in a different place or in a different...
No, it's not different. You still come back to the human rhyme, let's say. But another form of mind, definitely is not Queenie anymore. Maybe you are a man that time.
But still the karma follows what?
Karma follow, but how you explain when people tell you, I don't suffer, what next guy suffer?
You cannot escape karma, I think.
I understand what are you trying to tell me as a Buddhist. But if he's a non-Buddhist, how can you say you cannot escape Dharma? He already told you it's not me, understand? It's another being. Another form of mind, not me. Why you worry? Is it this life? Do what you like. No. I am giving you a case where this life no condition to arise. Subsequent life only the condition arise. Then how do you explain or rebuff such a deluded thinking? Understand? That is the understanding that you must have as a Buddhist. What did the Buddha say? He always referred to what? Who is subject to karma? The form of mind is subject to karma. You think this form of mind and that form of mind in the future is not connected? It's a different one. Understand? But they are connected through what? You remember I explained the karmic nature? Summation of what? Of all the birth. Understand? That's why it's connected. Each and every form of mind that comes is karmically conditioned from your karmic nature, not somebody else's karmic nature, You understand? Even though it's another form of mind, but the delusion, that consciousness, is still part of your karmic nature, you understand? That's why you cannot say somebody else suffer, understand? No? Because it is from that stream of consciousness. Although you may say it's a rebirth consciousness, but that one is from the karmic nature. It's a stream. That's why no matter how that ignorance will condition you to suffer, because the consciousness is trapped inside the body. It may be another form of mind, but the consciousness comes from the same karmic nature. You understand? That's why it cannot run. The form of mind may not be you, but that consciousness that suffer, that goes through that delusion and suffer, that reap the result, is the same consciousness from that karmic nature. Do you understand? You have to explain it this way. Otherwise, people will counter you or rebuff you. Why you worry? Somebody else suffer, not me. Understand? So, as a Buddhist, you have to understand we have a karmic nature. That karmic nature is unique to each and every individual. Everyone is different. Understand? But every time your form and mind come, that form and mind is connected and linked to that karmic nature. It's not a different being, understand? But form and mind wise is definitely another one. You understand? Like I used to tell you, you have gone through aeons and aeons of birth and death. So many birth and death. Let's say countless, billions. Then which one is you? None of them are you, understand? But they are all your karmic nature, conditioned out form and mind. They are related to you. That's why this form and mind, although not me, not you, but is related to my karmic nature. That's why it has a duty. And with the wisdom you understand, you have to do your duty. As far as the form and mind is concerned, it's subject to karma. You cannot run. It's all connected. But this form and mind, without wisdom, is deluded. You will be subject to karma. The only time it can go above and transcend is when it has the wisdom developed, or that silent mind, when you connect and it awakens. When it connects and it awakens, that awakening is the wisdom. So this wisdom will be connected to this form and mind. Where this form and mind that goes through it will understand. Then that understanding is connected to this form and mind. But the moment this form and mind disperse, or you call death, that wisdom disappears. Do you understand? You cannot carry it along. But that wisdom is inherited in the spiritual nature. That in future when you take birth, as long as you are not connected to your true nature or your true mind, you can never inherit that wisdom. That's why you have to connect first. Then you can inherit. Then you can, through the direct seeing, awakening, you develop the understanding. Then the wisdom will come back. That's why it's not easy to understand life. You have to understand the conditioned world and the unconditioned. You have to develop the wisdom of the unconditioned and the wisdom of the conditioned existential world. These two, when you have them both connected, then only you can understand life. You can understand the unreal and the real. And the real is not a being, understand? Your eternal nature, your true nature is not a being, not an entity, like people call God, understand? It cannot come out and live life. Can you follow? You have to get this clear, understood. The karmic nature also cannot come out and live life, understand? It's a nature, but it can condition a form and mind for you to come to this existential world. And for all beings to come to this existential world or the conditioned world, you need a form and mind, karmically conditioned. That's the requirement. That's the the prerequisite. And this one can be different one. Every life is different, but it's all connected to your karmic nature. You cannot run. The consciousness is connected. That's why you cannot say somebody else suffer. No, that delusion will take effect from the same karmic nature. It will continue. It is like you manifest through another form of mind, but that stream of consciousness is related to your karmic nature. Because of that, you cannot run. You cannot escape. Okay? So that part is very important. Hopefully you all can understand by now. That's why a lot of incidents I realize when I share all this, I assume you all know when I write the summation there near the karmic nature, you all should have the understanding already that all these are connected. That's why it's a summation. The form of mind can be different. That's why we always say, this form of mind is enlightened, but it's not me. It's not you. Why? Because this is not a permanent, unchanging entity, dependent, originating, condition arising. It can only manifest through karma, karmic conditioning. And whatever that is karmically conditioned out has the characteristics of impermanent, leading to suffering and non-self nature or anatta nature. So this is not a permanent, unchanging entity that you can say, this is me, this is I. That's why the Buddhist teaching doesn't believe in a transmigration, means reincarnation, means a permanent, unchanging entity which is the soul reincarnate into another form of mind. No such thing. That's the uniqueness of the Buddha's teaching. That's the reason why life is not easy to understand. So the Dhamma is unique in that sense. You need to realize both the conditioned and the unconditioned Dhamma. You have to penetrate them and understand them clearly. Then only you can live life. Then you can really understand life. What is moral? Sila, correct. So morality is what? That moral aspect is, we talk about moral means right and wrong, good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome. Understand? So moral is about your mental intention. Whatever mental intention you arise, the moral behind that mental intention will take effect. That's why the Buddha defined karma as what? What is the Pali word? It is no. Moral involve mental intention inside. What is the Pali word for mental intention? It is cetena that I call karma. And the Buddha defined it so clearly. And this has been repeated so many times. That's why when you have understanding, it becomes very clear. Why do I need a permanent, unchanging entity like a soul to create moral responsibility? Do you understand? As long as that form of mind, without the wisdom, with delusion, through its mental intention, it will create karma. Do you understand? That's why you don't need a soul, because the form of mind depends on the views, opinion, and conditioning that it is exposed to. That's why as you grew up, before you learn how to meditate, before you awaken through the meditation, you will be conditioned into whatever your, we call it the bundle of memories and conditioning. Means your views, your opinion, and the thing that you hold on to, and all your conditioning. That molds you. But the moment you awaken, all this wrong view is gone. That's why you become totally different. Your mind, with the wisdom, awaken. And when it's awakened, the form and mind is still the same, but the understanding is totally different. So, it is not what this author is trying to explain to you. You don't need a soul, you only need a form and mind. So this form and mind is not identical personality. This form and mind will evolve as it moves through existence and life. So at the point where it hasn't awakened, it is still a lay person with the delusion. But the moment it awakens, the personality is different, the character is different. He becomes a transformed being. That aspect of Buddhism, you also need to understand clearly. Can follow? Yeah? Can follow or not? Good. So, when death consciousness occurs, rebirth consciousness continue. But that consciousness is a new consciousness, understand? It's not a soul that transmigrate or cross over. It's just one moment of thought consciousness. But that one is karmically determined or conditioned. You only need to know that there is a karmic nature that condition the rebirth. Then the form and mind may be different, but it is related to that karmic nature. That stream is the same. So every being has its own karmic nature, and that karmic nature cannot change, cannot run, because it follows you. Summation of all your birth and death, and every moment of your thought process means your cetana, your mental intention. They are all collectively summed together, and that will become your unique karmic nature. That's why that karmic nature is not easy to understand. There is a nature by itself. Like a spiritual nature, it's a nature by itself. It's a summation of every life you come. When you connect and you cultivate, then you inherit. Where the spiritual nature you can only inherit after you connect. Okay? So after you connect, only you can continue to evolve your spiritual nature, whatever wisdom and understanding and perfection. Then that one, when you take rebirth, it's not like the karmic nature. The karmic nature, the moment you are born, like the Buddha say, you immediately inherit, understand? Because you are born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditioned and supported by your karma. And you are what you are because of your karma. So that one take immediate effect until you die. Actually that one, the karmic one, is non-stop one. Continuous.